stop looking for your daddy in these men.
Come on, sis. Yes.
Because what's happening is they're raising a lot of sons now as single moms, and our men are not able to express themselves healthily, but also it's a lot of damage that has been done to our generation in regards to the fathers and what happened before we got to this point. So, like, that's the crack era, right? That's the mass incarceration. And so a lot of our fathers, our dads, are absent. And so now we have a generation of us that are kind of like the baby boomers right now, where we're having kids and we want to be able to build families, but we just don't know how, right? And so I would say we all have masculine and feminine energy within ourselves, and so it's up to us to do the work to identify what those parts of ourselves are needed for. And we don't have to be aggressive, and we don't have to be over masculine and bossy all the time. Like, we need those parts of ourselves, but when it's controlling you, it does something to our health. Like, so now we do have heart issues. We do grow facial hair because all the testosterone.
Talk about it.
It's important for us to heal that relationship with the masculine, and to realize that even though our fathers may not have been there, or even if they were and it wasn't healthy for us, we don't get to write the story for every man after that. You know, so it's our job to be able to be using your discernment and not blaming men, because men have their own journey.
Let's talk about it.
And learning how to date yourself. Like, stop looking for happiness outside of yourself. Yup. And you do the work and find what happiness means to you, because it may not even be just a man, you know?
Yeah. TK. Jersey. I've been on the grind, man, all it took was patience. That money on my mind, man, all I see is hating. He jocking on the low, man, you know the kid is wavy. Like how you mad at me when you know you're fucking lazy. Should've changed.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl. Health is Key in the building, and you are tuned into the Health and Hip Hop Podcast Show. Shout out to my guy, Composer Rel. Gotta shout him out. I've just been super busy, and I just haven't been able to contact him to come down. So we got some episodes he's scheduled in ahead of time, so you'll see him back here soon. But in the meantime, between time, we finally have real talk with real women.
Yes.
We always got the fellas. We've been having the fellas, but I haven't had one with the ladies.
Yes.
So, yes, I guess we can go in a little swoop. Please introduce yourself, and yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm excited to be here. My name is Summer. I'm from Newark and Irvington, repping for both Brick City. It's an honor to be here with Key and the rest of these lovely ladies. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Summer.
Peace, y'all. I am Sierra Divine. I'm a brand strategist, community advocate, and also a wellness curator. So I do a lot for the community, and I'm all for leading healing projects for the community, but I also just started doing brand storytelling to help grassroots businesses grow their brand through authentic storytelling and community connection. Thank you, Tori, for holding this space.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to the conversation with all y'all. So.
Yes, I am too.
Thank you. Peace and blessings, beautiful people. My name is Maisa. I am from Brick City, Newark, New Jersey, born and raised, okay? Estate 1982.
Let's go.
I am an ultrasound tech career, and I'm also a transformation speaker, patient advocate, you know, and I'm a breast cancer warrior and a limb loss warrior as well. So thank you for having me.
Wow. So yes, thank you, ladies. The energy is fire, because guess what? Y'all think we planned these outfits? No, we did. We did plan the dresses. I'm like, if you want to wear a skirt, you want to, but the sneakers and it's hitting. So you know it's about to be a fire interview. Let's get it. Okay. So you know this is a health and hip hop show, and so we always like to start off with a hip hop question, because we feel like, you know, people can understand you from another perspective just by who is your favorite artist. So yeah, real quickly, who is your favorite hip hop artist and why? We can go any order.
Well, I'll go first. My favorite hip hop artist is Beanie Sigel.
Let's go! Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay.
Beans, honestly, I never really realized he was my favorite artist until my homie said something to me one day, because every time I listen to Beans, he really just does something to me, no matter what song it is, what time it is, no matter what I'm going through. And he said, you're like, yo, that's your favorite artist, because he's the only one, hip-hop artist, he's the only one that really puts you in that space like that. So yeah, shout out to Beans.
Yeah, Beans, let's go. I love that answer. I was not expecting that. That's what I'm talking about. I love it.
Yeah.
I was sitting here thinking about it as you said it, because I'm like, I still listen to hip hop sometimes. I'm tapped in. But if I had to say my favorite, it would probably be DMX.
Okay. Okay. We some feminine thugs up here. You know what I'm saying?
He's a sage, but I respected his passion
Yes.
and his truth, and being able to honor his duality and not just be one way. So he tapped into so many different parts of someone as an individual, and so I just felt like he was dynamic. And he was good at storytelling.
Ooh, I love
Absolutely.
it. I love that answer. I love y'all reasons. Solid.
Well, for me, I would have to say Nas.
Okay, let's do it.
Here's why. Earlier, I didn't tell you guys all about me, but I am an educator by profession, and I love learning. I love to read. I like to think. I like to critically think. Nas is definitely my favorite artist because he is a lyricist. He tells a story. He's authentic. He speaks from his experience, his people's experience. And he's intriguing. And to this day, Nas is still, you put on a Nas record, you feel it,
Yeah.
And even when you go back to some of the old Nas and you listen to it, you see some of the things that's happening in the world today, in the community, and it's still alive. So shout out to Nas.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Right.
Yes. So mine, I want to say, I have my favorite rappers have always been a tie with 50 and Styles P, just because 50 when I was younger, and then Styles P as I got older, they was always my favorite, but just being older now and everything that Styles does is my favorite. But I've literally recently kind of changed it. And I want to say right now, my favorite artist actually is Queen Latifah. And the reason why it's changed is because I'm finally, putting out music. I'm finally doing the show. And I just remembered that when I was a younger girl and I seen Khadijah on Living Single. She was... I always, since I was 5, I was like, yo, that's what I want to do. I want to have a hip hop magazine. And that's what she did. And so now today I'm doing that. Awesome. And like, I'm connecting artists like how she did. And also like, just the fact that like people are always telling me every time I finish rapping, like, yo, Queen Latifah. So she it right now. So yeah, that's that's who's number one right now. And she from Jersey.
Yes.
Jersey.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes. Yes.
So I never got to answer that question. I've answered it but a long time ago. So so now it's updated. All right, let's get into it. So speaking of hip hop, right? I would love to know your opinion on, today's women in hip hop. And it could be whatever. This is a free space because I know everything that y'all say is for healing purposes and helping purposes. So be yourself. But what do y'all see help? I don't want to say female rap. Women in rap.
Decide.
Gotta think about it. The moment.
Everybody just.
I would have to say there's been a huge transition. Again, growing up, in Newark and Irvington and in the 90s, things were different in female rap. But today's rap with females, it's a little, I think they're pushing the envelope way too much. And it's not a lot of originality for me. And that's just my personal opinion. I think when we hear female rappers, to me personally, some of them sound the same. They all go for the same style, in my opinion. And I mean, shout out to them and more power to them. But I just don't see a lot of authenticity. I don't see a lot of originality. That's just my opinion.
So sometimes, to piggyback off what you're saying, do we think it's them or do we think it's the entertainment industry that's pushing them to do that? Because we do have female rappers like Rhapsody, who she's not pushed out there in that way, like Glow and these other female artists are. So,
And-
you know what I mean?
And that's true. And that is true because I love India Arie, right? And if you follow like India Arie's story, and she's done interviews about this, about the industry and what you believe in going into the industry versus what's going to sell. So I think it's a thin line. And I think like Rhapsody, like you mentioned, you have to go into this game really knowing you, you know, but at the end of the day, you still got to sell records. So it's it's a tough place for them to be in, and I think it's definitely the industry. I would agree, but I think if you solid, you know who you are, and your music is
it represents. You know what
I think stick to it, but sometimes you're forced to push the envelope to sell records.
Love it. Okay.
I agree. I agree with what both of y'all said. I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I listened to a video, it was James Baldwin, and it was somewhere in context, not verbatim, but saying basically like, can an artist be successful in a sense? Like, and he said no, only because once you get to a certain level of success, your creativity starts to be boxed in because they feel like this is what's working for you, so keep doing that. And you don't allow yourself to express it authentically anymore because you're programming yourself to be like, this is what I'm good at, I have to stay here.
Right.
So I think the narrative with music is also getting old. You know, like I feel like we all kind of tired of hearing it now. Like we all kind of tired of seeing it now, right? So I just believe in that everything happens in cycles, and I just feel like right now is a good time where everything is resetting. And so we're more open to diversity in music. Like Dolce, like she came out very different, very unique. But she's also expressing herself authentically, but in a different way, you know? Like it's not as vulgar,
Right.
but it's relatable, you know? So I don't want to judge, you know? Like I love all music. But I just honor all avenues of it just because I know parts of me was into all that at some point. Like that was my truth. Like, but I like what both of y'all said though. I agree.
Yes. Did you want to have something? Because I know you asked a question. I didn't know if you got to answer though.
I don't even remember.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure because I know
It
you
may come back.
No, you piggyback, so that's why.
I mean, my answer was really, it was pretty simple.
No, I think she asked and I agree with her.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure because I was like,
Yeah.
because I know you piggyback, so I wasn't sure if you was making.
Well, I can add something.
Yeah, if you want.
So
to.
I want to also add that, I mean, some of them are hypersexual.
Right.
You know what I mean? So some of them are that way authentically, you know, and then some of them are pushing the envelope because this is what they're being told to do. And because they want to get to that certain level of success.
Absolutely.
So they feel like this is what I have to do to get to that certain level.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. Absolutely.
You know.
So yeah. But I'm sorry.
I'm done.
Oh, okay. I wanted to make sure. No, I always want to make sure. I
Thank you,
definitely
though. I appreciate it.
No, y'all answers pretty much kind of made me see something because I don't remember the questions. Like I wrote them and sent them. I never looked at them again. I never like so. Y'all probably got a little bit more than me because I'm like, what did I ask? I don't even know. This is the first time I'm looking at them again. So y'all answers pretty much kind of gave me something that I never would have thought of. But now that I'm looking at it, I look at the female rappers or women rappers as it's a job, right? And so how some people move up in the corporate world, like you can either work somewhere you hate to make a lot of money, or you can work somewhere you love to either make a lot of money or not. Like there's a possibility there. And then I feel like with women in rap, it's like work. It's work. It's literally how you look at the bag. So it's like, depending on how we said everything sounds authentic, sometimes it's the easier route to the bag. You know what I mean? And we do it with our jobs. We do it with how we create our income.
Absolutely.
And so I just think that it's based on, you know, how you believe in yourself according to income.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Because some people will take their time in the corporate world and be like, you know what? I'm going to build up. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to learn the skill sets. Some people going sleep their way to the top. You know what I'm saying? And some people is also going to suffer and make a lot of money. And some people are also going to work crazy hard and make a lot of money. And then you got the person that actually enjoys what they do. And they do make a lot of money. And then you got the person that enjoys what they do and they don't. And that's how a lot of the women rappers are in the entertainment industry. So depending on how hard you want to kind of go, that's where I feel like. But y'all kind of gave me that answer when you were talking about it's the same and duality with the DMX. And, you know, so that's what I think it's just like, you know, however you relay yourself to how you can get income and whatever you feel like is your talent, whether it's your body, whether it's your words, whether it's if you want to be an educator, whether it's whether you want to be a brand strategist, trainer, ultrasound, like however you feel is how you're going to be in your career. So if you want to rap, then that's what you're going to express as a woman, depending on how you feel about lack of in your income or how to go and get it. If you know, and that's what we see. In my opinion. I think it's always been like that, but I think with the mainstream, it's kind of like you can't see the background of everything. You can't see into their lives. So, you know, they only showed you specifically what they wanted to see, but it's kind of always been that, which is why we'll have an artist where you be like, they fell off. And they be like, no, they don't want to go up that corporate world that way.
Absolutely.
They're like, oh, nah, I ain't doing that for that job. The same way you would be like, And some people going to be like, look, man.
I'm going to do it anyway.
I need to pay this.
I need to
pay this bill. Like, I'm going to just, you know what I'm saying?
And I think that's acceptable. I think that's okay. But like you said, you have to be okay with self.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and we all have different journeys. We all have different paths. And at the end of the day, you have to sit in that. You have to sit in your truth, no matter what it is, past, present, or future. As long as you can say, after you get the bag, I feel good about myself, or I could sleep good at night, then more power to you. But what I see in the media, a lot of artists are suffering behind closed doors because of the decisions they've made to get the bag. And you see some of those demons being manifested on our screens every day in their actions, some of the things they're doing, and it's being caught on camera, you know. And again, to each his own, you know, but everyone has different career paths and it's all, but at the end of the day, whatever decision you make, you just have to be good with self.
Absolutely.
You know, and as long as you can sleep good at night, like you said, and chasing the bag, then more power to you.
And be able to look at yourself in the mirror.
Absolutely,
Because
you know,
looking at that reflection
it's
a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
It's hard to look at yourself when you know you're doing things morally that you really shouldn't be doing. You know, that you feel, not that somebody else says, but what you feel. You know,
integrity, like for sure. There's a lack thereof in the industry, not even just with music. That's in healthcare too.
Oh
You know, like where it's like so easy to scale yourself on a higher level when you know opportunity comes to you, like because you're a beautiful woman, like, and you would be a good look, you know, like, so I think it's a decision, like you said, based on your morals. Like, do I have integrity to be like, yes, beauty is an asset, but also I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I deserve to be in the room, like, and it's not an easy decision to make, like y'all are saying, like, $100,000. You know, like maybe, right?
What is it gonna cost
but can you sleep at night? You know, like,
And to piggyback off that, which is actually going to lead into my next question for y'all, is that feeling, right? I agree with 100%, and it's absolutely correct. And it's about what happens when you don't feel like that. Like, so if you've done something and you can't look in the mirror, or you've done something to get a bag and it doesn't feel good, what is your next move? So my question for y'all is, which is what I have, which is perfect line up for it. When y'all feel off, right? When you feel off your bag, off your health routine, off when you don't feel like you, what is a way or some of the ways that you get yourself back in order?
I like solitude. I may get criticized sometimes from my family, my loved ones. I truly like to be alone. When I'm not okay, when I'm not right, I like to be alone because I'm able to process my thoughts sometimes alone. I may even just need a day or two. You know, it's no disrespect or anything like that. And I think my loved ones just being around me long enough, they give me that space because if I don't get that alone time, I'm not going to be good for you. You know, I may say something that may hurt you and I don't mean it. So it's like I need solitude. It's my go-to.
Right.
Besides solitude, I just go in the gym.
That's right.
I'm in a gym, you know, I get my little headpiece on, I listen to my favorite tune, and I just zone out, you know, and I feel good after that.
Love it. Okay.
Solitude.
So what I'll do, I have like multiple things that I'll do. So I do like shower meditation a lot. So again, I shower, I meditate, I cry, I talk to myself, I talk to myself like I'm talking to one of my homegirls and I'm digging in you. Now I'm digging in me that way, you know. And then I'll speak life back into myself, tell myself what I need to do moving forward, you know, try not to sit in that space. And sometimes it may last longer, but at least for those few hours, I'm okay to get through it, you know. I'll talk to my friend, you know, he'll put me in my place. Shout out to my homie, you know, he's over there.
Definitely.
You know, and, you know, he'll ask me certain questions to make me look at myself and see what's going on and why am I feeling that way at that time. You know, I'll journal, you know what I mean? Those are just some of the things that, you know, I'll do, you know what I mean?
Okay, love it.
Definitely talking to myself all the time. In the mirror, like you said, in the car. Like, while I'm sitting here, I'm talking to myself.
Nothing wrong with that.
And journaling. Like, I write a lot. Like, and I picked up a journal because I had an ex tell me, like, you need another outlet.
Yes.
Like, and I took that in, like, damn, like, I ain't never think about that.
No, it's
you know?
real.
Like,
It's real.
But it tapped me back into writing, and I used to write a lot when I was younger. And in 1 year, I had like 3 journals, like, and I started reflecting. That's what helps me. Where I'm like, okay, like, I feel like I wrote this before. I feel like I felt like this before. I'll go back and read journals to see how I am in certain seasons of my life. And I caught seasonal depression from journaling because I realized, like, you feel the same type of way every single time. Like, the summer start ending, you're going into fall and winter. And I started paying attention to what I was doing to counteract that. And it was like, I'm outside a lot, you know? Like, I love nature.
Right.
I'm a nature girl. And being inside in the winter, we need vitamin D, so it's easy. Like, a lot of us as Black people suffer from depression, especially in the winter, because we be in our head and we have all those thoughts, you know? And so you have to really cater to that voice to just be a little bit more kind to us. So I'm practicing that a lot with journaling. But, I write.
Journaling is definitely therapeutic. It actually inspired me to become an educator because when I was in elementary school, I was dealing with a lot of issues, you know, from home and everything like that, and I couldn't challenge those feelings. So I tend to, you know, I was fighting a lot. You know, I didn't know how to express myself or my feelings, so I just wanted to fight. You know, until I got to the 8th grade, you know, I met this teacher and she took the time out to really get to know me, the whole me. She got to know my family, the dynamics, the issues I was dealing with. And I remember her telling me, Summer, just because people label you something doesn't mean you have to prove them right. And then she also told me, whenever you feel like punching somebody in their face, just write. And she gave me a composition book. And ironically, I went on to college, became an English teacher.
Oh, what's her name?
Wow, yes.
Shout out to Miss Hill, Chancellor Avenue School. My 8th grade teacher. Yeah, so journal, and to this day, again, besides fitness and working out and boxing and things like that, writing, and, you know, I even tell my students that.
I was getting ready to ask you.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell them, right. Yeah, because sometimes you may
It's
not.
healing.
It is. You can't express yourself all the time, you know, but I'm glad I found that journal. Lord knows where I'll be.
Love it. Okay, I'm gonna move past. I'm gonna go past because I still want to emphasize on y'all. So some questions I'm skipping for time purpose. I want to get to every question that I have listed if I can. All right. So I love y'all answers. I would agree with that. That's some of the things I do, so I'm good with that. And thank y'all for that. Like, thank y'all for sharing that. All right. So, what are ways that, you know, you make sure that, you know, you're tapping in with your mind, your body, your soul, making sure that, you know, they're on a good accordance? what are some ways that y'all are doing that? I know, what did we just talk about? What was that one about? What was the question I just asked y'all? It was about...
What are some things that we do when we are...
Yeah, feeling down.
Okay.
Yeah. So just like mind, body, mental. Because sometimes I feel like sometimes like you feel good and you may do your fitness, but then like so you feel good body wise, like but then sometimes you be like, yo, I'm not accomplishing this, or I'm not doing good in this habit. So that doesn't mean that all the time they're all aligned, and then sometimes they are. Where you feel good and you feel complete.
Yeah.
So like what are ways that y'all mend those when you feel like they're off or not connected?
For me, being intentional. When I'm in a space where I'm feeling all lopsy-daisy, I have to be intentional with everything. The time I wake up, I already wake up like 3, 4 in the morning already anyway. So, okay, now I'm up. Yeah.
Absolutely.
She said it like, I already wake up 3 or 4 in the morning, like, okay.
Yes. So now, okay, I'm up. So now I have to make sure that I always pray, okay, but it's intentional prayers, meditating, journaling, exercising, it's everything, I already fast, so, okay, now I'm fasting, and now when I'm finally breaking my fast, I'm saying certain things when I'm eating, so intentionality with every single thing, and that's when it's like, oh, I feel amazing,
Wow.
So that's how I reset. And walking and listening to music and dancing. That's, yeah.
For me, again, because I like to communicate, so I tend to confide in, I call them my top 5 people. Those are the people who are going to always, and I mean always, tell me the truth. Even if I don't want to hear the truth. Those are the people I can go to with an issue, or, hey, I'm off today, or it's no sugarcoating, because they're my friend, or, they're just going to give it to me raw. And after hearing how I'm feeling or my situation from a different perspective, it really allows me to say, you know what? You was wrong, Summer. You messed up. I don't care how you shape it. You was wrong. You was dead wrong. And sometimes, like we talked about self-talk, you need to have those brutal conversations with self. Right. So I have those go-to people, My husband is one, definitely. He don't sugarcoat anything. And I was like, God, you supposed to be on my team. He's like, nah, if you wrong, you wrong.
I'm gonna sit down. Like,
It should be on your team.
Absolutely.
That's
So
being
it's
on your
like,
team.
so yeah, those are my go-to people, man. They keep me grounded, so.
I would say I like your answer with slowing down and being intentional, because we just so used to doing
On the go all the time.
that we become robotic and forget that we still have to be, and so by slowing down, I'm able to be like, I'm going to a podcast today, which is why when we begin, I'm like, we're gonna have a good show. Like these things just help me a lot to be present in the moment. And also learning more about my body and my essence as a woman, and realizing that we have phases that we go through. And so there's 4 phases within a month for us. And I'm creative during one of those phases. I'm tired during one of those phases. I'm in solitude, right? It's a rhythm. And so learning that rhythm for myself and being like, this is the reason why I don't feel like doing nothing this week, and not being so hard on myself to be like, girl, you being lazy. Like, no, I need more rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to honor more rest,
your time.
especially as Black women. Like, rest is such a luxury, and we not missing nothing. Like, and so learning them phases has helped me tremendously. Like, centering myself. Like, this not your phase to be doing all that, and rescheduling. Like, take the week for that,
And I'm glad you said that, because you just kind of solidified what I was going. Like, I just turned 40, so again, I'm in the third phase. And that phase is like, wow. And I was just like, the things that excited me in my 20s, I don't care for, like I want to sleep more now, like on the weekends. So I'm like, whoa, is this what 40s really feel like? But it's like, no, and for me personally, like I said, I've done a lot of things early, way before my time. So now that I'm 40 and I'm supposed to be doing those things, I'm like, did it, sorry, I'm not interested. But to each his own. I just don't have an urge for it, I'm more focused on the next level, the generations to come after me. Like, I need to really stand still, focus, get the bag together, you know what I'm saying? Leave my legacy. You get what I'm saying? So my mindset is just different right now. And when I turned 40, I was like, wow, I feel great. Like, I'm at a space where I'm not confused a lot. I'm happy, genuinely happy, with my career, my relationship, my family dynamic. So I'm like, wow, you go, girl. Girl, you did that. But then you go back to traumas, like what it took for me to get to this space. And I always say everything happens for a reason, because we tend to beat ourselves up as women. We tend to say, oh, why did I make that mistake? Or we dwell on those bad situations. And then I have those self-talks with myself in the shower. Nah, some of that was supposed to happen. No, I was supposed to get you through that storm, and look at you now. So definitely.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, for me, it's more of a letting go. Like, whenever I feel out of whack, especially when all three, I have to remember, like, let go. Like, you know what? Give everything to God. And then I always like to just take a weekend and just turn my phone off, like, not talk to. So I'll just text the important people in my life. Hey, I'm not answering the phone this weekend.
Right.
I'm not answering the phone tonight, and especially, like, being a woman that's a healer or a helper, you intake so many,
energy.
especially educated, like kids, like,
Everything.
if you're speaking life into people, if you're trying to make people better, if that's your living, you have to have a period of you, like, just all of you, just to let yourself replenish, because, you give out a lot and then you also intake a lot, and so it's like, okay, if people are getting affected, soul ties with sleeping around, then listening to people's problems, encouraging, like, you getting deep in with them, probably some more information than other people would share with their partners. And so, you getting all that, transfer into you. So just learning, like, okay, with the cycle, like how you said, Sierra, like, different weeks and things like that during, before your cycle and all those things, paying attention to that and just letting go. Like, okay, you know what, God, you got all of that. And not connecting nothing. Just letting the day go. Just letting it be. And also, lastly, would be practicing being present more. Like, just if I'm driving down the street, just practicing just driving down the street. Like, just, okay, if I'm washing dishes, wash the dishes. Like, because I could be thinking about a whole bunch of other stuff. So I started to be mindful, and it's so crazy, like, me practicing that, it was certain times during the day that I would actually come up with better ideas because I wasn't rushing through the ideas. Because you're doing all these different things. So that's what I would say. Letting go, really letting go. Like, because, you could be like, let go and give it to God. Like, no, you really have to
let it go.
Detach yourself.
Detachment. Yep, for sure.
Yep.
Definitely.
So my next question is, everybody has their own version of health. What is health for you and to you? What's your version of healthy? What's your version of health? Because I think it's different according to every single person. So, what is your version of healthy or health for you specifically?
For me, it would be having energy.
I love that
Sometimes, because we're so busy, we busy women, and just having enough energy. Even if, so for me, like, again, fitness, I love working out because that's my space where it's no one around. It's just me, my machine, the dumbbells. So just really, really tapping into that space. I feel at my best when I work out. After leaving the gym, I have a clearer mind because I'm an overthinker. So my mind constantly races. It's hard to kind of turn my brain off sometimes. So when I'm at the gym, that's just my time. I block everything out and I'm just go hard. But I feel good when I'm able to have energy, when I'm, around positive people, positive energy.
Feel good right now?
Yeah.
Right now?
Like, I don't. How you feel? Yeah, it's really it's therapeutic in a way. It really is therapeutic. Just energy matters. It really do.
It does.
It matters because it can make or break you.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Everything is energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Energy for me as well. And also me sticking to my daily routine. That
key.
Talking to me, I need to get on that.
That
Thank you
is
for that.
like I honestly feel like I'm floating. Like this morning, for instance, I was like, okay, I got up. I woke up like 5 this morning. Woke up at 5, got up, prayed, meditated. I haven't done yoga in months. Pulled out my yoga mat, did yoga
That's
for 20
right.
minutes, stretched, did 30-second planks, drank my mushroom coffee. Like I
Wow.
journal, I read my book for 10 minutes, got in the shower. It was like, boom,
That was your pre-warm up for the show. That was your pre-warm up for here.
and I felt so good. And that's what I used to do every day. Like 7 days a week I did that. And
Yeah.
so, yes, that's what makes me feel good, honestly. Of course, and being around great people, my family, my loved ones. But that for me is what makes me
Keeps
feel
you going,
great.
right?
Yeah.
That's important.
I love that.
I'm gonna say alignment. I'm gonna say alignment, and only because we just consistently change and evolve anyway. And that alignment may look different for me according to whatever season that is. So I have seasons where I love doing yoga and I love doing that. I have seasons where I want to try something new. Like I'm training for a 5K right now.
Oh,
Right.
Just
Awesome.
because I've never done
Congrats.
it.
Yeah.
But also, like, I guess it's all in alignment with the mission, like, so whatever is falling in line with that and opening myself up enough to receive what is for me, so letting go of the plan to a point where I'm coddling it and not allowing it to really fully express itself. And so I'm like, whatever's in alignment with me right now,
Yep.
I'm just
I'm gonna
saying
go with
yes.
it. Yeah.
Right.
And I don't want to second guess it. I don't want to overthink it. Like, I just want it to align, and it has helped me, like you said, be more intentional and also focus, like I'm here to fulfill a mission.
That's right.
And I'm sticking to the mission, and I'm not about to be getting in my own way.
That's right.
Trying to identify what health is like, because at some point health for me was going out to the club,
Right.
shaking my little booty, like, that was healthy
That's
to me
real.
at that
Right.
time.
At that
We've
moment,
been
yeah.
there, yeah.
And like you said, now I'm just like, I'm kind of outgrowing that.
Yeah.
And I'm in this season of earning, and so I like that. I feel like life is 3 seasons. Like, you learn, you earn, and then you return. So,
Oh, I love it.
I like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out to Denzel Washington. I got that from him. I love that. Yeah.
And it's
Wow.
interesting you said that because, like you said, we all live through different phases of our lives. And again, like we talked about going to the club, that was my thing. The bars is my thing. But I feel different, I haven't drank in a while. So, and I don't miss it. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, they can't live without alcohol. But that's not my story. So
Right.
thank God for that. But I say that to say when you kind of remove yourself from certain environments, people, places, and things, that's something real.
Yeah.
And because it forces you to really tap into yourself.
Yes.
And I think a lot of us, men and women, we're walking around here and we're afraid of self. A lot of us don't want to face those demons. And like you said, that shower thing is a big thing because for me to be at this space I'm in, I had to really have those brutal conversations with Summer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Facts.
and that takes a lot. And that's why, like, I mean, you could say anything about me.
Oh, well.
Shall be well with you.
Oh,
Be
well.
blessed.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Be blessed. Like, I'm good. I have a colleague, and he's so inspirational to me. He always says to me, knowledge of self. And I didn't understand what he meant by that. He said, for our people, meaning African American, our culture, for us to move forward, we have to really start reprogramming our children and teaching them about knowledge of self.
Talk about it.
Because once you know self, and like the entertainment, we talked about that. It's very hard for people to deter you or get you off track, because you know yourself. And that takes a lot of soul searching, therapy, digging. So
I want to piggyback off you real quick. Like, I had this conversation about like what's going on in regards to like politics, right? And they're removing Black History Month, right? And so like people were just in this uproar, and I just had this perspective like I'm happy that they're removing that, and only because it's horrific to sit through a class, right? And you are a person of color, and you're watching people that look like you get beaten and slain and murdered, right? And then you look to your teacher most times and they look like the person that's doing that in those movies. So it's like you sitting in the class with a boogeyman, and what do you think that does to a child as they develop? Like, it messes with their self-esteem. It makes them feel inferior. They don't have no belief in themselves. And I was like, we need to start, like you said, educating ourselves on our own culture. Like, outside of what was assigned to us in the school system, knowledge itself is going to be key, because we identify with something that's not even us.
Right.
You know?
And it's, to me, the parents' responsibility. You know, shout out to the educators. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's also as parents, as family, as a tribe, as a village, to teach our children our history, because it's our history.
Right.
We're leaving the responsibility of our history into their hands.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I have a different perspective on it, and just to kind of go back off what you're saying, I understand your perspective, but my outlook on the whole teaching our history, that is a part of our history, unfortunately. You know, however you shape it, that's a part of our history. I truly think we do need to know our history, because for you to go somewhere and for you to become something, you need to know where you started. You know, you need to know that, yes, we were kings, we were queens, you know, and the whole slave thing, yes, it happened. It's not something where we can erase from our history. So it is, I mean, yes, feelings, emotions get involved, but I think that's when you have to kind of build them up before you actually maybe show things like that, you know, depending on, you know, your audience. But I would say I disagree. I think we need to know. They need to know, because go ahead.
All right, let me ask you this. Why don't they allow us to see the stories of before we got here? You know, like,
because
they educate us, and not to cut you off, right? But they educate us about other cultures and countries and who they were before.
Right.
We in other people's business all the way in England. So how are we skipping over Africa, Kemet, you know, and not telling these kids that they were once that? We telling them that their history is just slavery, being oppressed, beaten.
Okay.
If you did try to find freedom, guess what? We killed them.
Right.
You know, like...
And then they're not showing the positive influences that we've had. You know, like, even when the school now, what they teach the kids and showing, you know, they're not showing the positive influences that our people have. Just don't show this small portion, even though it's a big influence, but there's so many other things that we have done that have influenced the world as a people. You know what I mean?
And that's where the critical thinking comes in at that part. And us as parents, right? We can't leave the school to teach our children.
Yep. Right. That's
Your parents, your caretakers are your first teacher. Before your child steps in my classroom, there's certain morals, values, beliefs, whatever, I would assume you've taught them. But sometimes that's not the case.
Right.
So I wear many hats. You know, I'm a teacher, I'm a mother, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a sister, I'm a brother, I'm a therapist, I'm everything. But again, it goes back to educating the whole child. So as far as that, yes, whatever you learn in school, it's okay. But the difference between the society today, the knowledge is out there. We just have to go seek it. So if you feel like, okay, they're not teaching what our real history is, whatever perspective that may be, I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna continue to ask questions. You know, that critical thinking, that questioning. Don't take things as face values. And I teach my students that. If I tell you something, if I say the sky is blue, yes, I may show you evidence that the sky is blue, but I'm not saying you have to always believe me. I need you to go seek further information, because you may come back to me and say, oh, you know what? You said the sky was blue, but did you know how the sky became blue? You get what I'm saying? So you want to teach children and just individuals that critical thinking piece will be key for us. You know, not just limiting ourselves to this is our history. Okay, they may say this is our history, but I beg to differ, and here's why. You know, then you bring in other artifacts. You talk to other historians, your ancestors. You know, they can, and that's why I love elderly people, because just sitting on grandma's lap or
you get the real history.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember I was at this. It was a Black History Month event, and it was a older lady there. She was probably like in her high 80s, and she was telling us about the marches, and she was telling us like, oh yeah, like, you know, Martin Luther King or Jesse Jackson, like they wouldn't let us march because we would always end up fighting. Like we would always end up fighting, you know, other races, and and that's the part that we don't hear, because in the books you're just gonna see. So I definitely feel where both where you are coming from. So I feel like it's perfect, because what it sounds like is it needs to just be taught in a certain in a better way. Because if we're talking you're learning it in school, then we need to make sure we're doing that job to where it's getting past school, like you just said. So in a sense, it's just about upgrading how Black history is looked at
Exactly.
in a totality. Like so I love both of those parts, because the way that you brought that up by saying like you're glad that it's taken away is more so in the fact of, because it's gonna be taught in the way we actually need it to be taught. And then your perspective is, you know, I'm teaching it and I'm making sure that you're getting to the same answer. Go and look deeper.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it boils down to making sure that we're getting deeper than what we're just getting on the surface level. Period. So thank you for that perspective.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And speaking of, you know, the things that feel healthy to you, right? Yours was energy. Yours was following your daily routine. What was yours again, Sierra? Alignment. Yes, alignment. Right.
Yes, I like that.
Thank you. Perfect. Because I was trying to remember hers, but I was like, dang, like I picked up hers. I was like, dang. By the time I started picking it up to figure out how to ease the next question, I'm like, dang, what's Sierra's? Because I'm listening to what she's saying. I'm like, dang, what was the? I'm just gonna have to ask. I'm gonna just have to ask, because I was listening. By the time I'm thinking about it, I'm listening to the rest of your answer. So, yes, what are boundaries that y'all set to keep your alignment, to keep your daily routine, to keep your energy? What are those boundaries to make sure that you stay with that alignment into what makes you feel healthy? What do you set to make sure that, you know, you're staying on point with that for yourself?
People, places, and things.
Yeah.
I know me. I fully understand I have triggers, and I will not put myself in certain environments that will bring out those triggers. So people, places, and things.
Love it.
Yeah.
That was that's gonna be a perfect Instagram reel, because that was like boop boop boop. That's a perfect one, right to the point. I love it.
That's really.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Setting boundaries with people.
Okay.
That's really what it was, because you know, as a person who is a healer and very empathic, to piggyback off what you said earlier, real quick, when you listen to people's problems. I used to go to sleep and dream about people's problems.
Wow.
How to fix it.
Wow.
When I say, and that's what made me start to drink a lot. That was that added on to it. Yeah, because the drinking helped me stay up, so I want to go to sleep at night. Because as soon as I would close my eyes, even if I prayed about it's still, it was, and that was years. And so I had to, you know, with the drinking and the eating, I used to smoke cigarettes, you know, I was up to like 265 pounds. And setting boundaries, my sons making me aware of myself and me acknowledging my sons, you know, and listening and hearing them, I made a choice. And I stopped smoking. I was intentional with that, you know, stopped drinking, doing all these things, no more beef, pork. And I had to do that for myself and stop speaking to these certain people, because all they were doing was calling me, dumping on me all the time. And because I was listening, that's what they did, because I allowed it. So I had to cut them off, set boundaries. And because I did that, now I'm this, I'm that, I'm all these names. And that's okay, you know.
They'll be okay.
That's fine. And it hurt, because these are people I knew 25 years, 20 years, 15 years. But it showed me who you really were and what I really was to you. And I had to set boundaries with that. And doing that helped me tremendously.
You sleep better at
Oh,
night.
my goodness. I don't want to think about people's problems. Let me tell you.
That's deep, and that shows how differently it affects us. Because for me, I don't have dreams about other people's problems, but I will not want to do anything. Like I won't be able to go to the gym. I just be like, why don't I feel motivated?
Right.
Yeah, you just feel heavy. So I can't even imagine how many different ways intaking other people's issues affects us differently. Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah. But go
Yeah.
ahead, Ciara. Like, I mean, your boundary.
I like both of y'all answers. I relate to both of them. And I would say definitely honoring my word to myself. So if I said that I value integrity, emotional safety, and you have situations where you don't feel that from people, it is like heartbreaking that you feel like, damn, like,
Especially
we've been together, we've
all
been
these
through
years.
everything. And I just feel like you're not respecting my growth. You know, like, because some
Nope.
people sit around you and we so used to being friends that we don't even see how big a person is in front of us. Like, dang, like, I really value your light. It's just like regular, like, we friends, you know? Like, so I think honoring that has really tremendously helped me because it made me look at myself and realize that that person is just being. And so I let them be, you know, because I can't control what they do, right?
Yeah.
But I also let me take my energy back and remove myself. Like, so this just ain't gonna work. And you honor it, you know, which is not the easiest thing, like you said. But do I want to waste more time suffering, you know, or do I want to allow myself to succeed? And so honoring my word to myself, nope, you said you're not doing that.
Yeah.
They crossed the line.
That's it.
Peace and love.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I'm proud of that.
Yeah, and we got to keep it moving, you know. I'm on a mission. You know, I'm on my journey. Like,
And it's okay. Sometimes you gotta love people from a distance.
love them from a distance.
Hey,
Absolutely.
catch you later.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with that too.
I
That
love
goes for
it.
family too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Thank y'all so much for the answers so far. I have one more question.
Okay.
And then if time permits, if y'all have a question and y'all want to ask, I'll open up the floor. My last question is, what's one tip that you would give younger women, women your age, and older women? So, yeah, what's one tip for you? And if you don't have a tip, if you have just for one or the other, that's fine too.
Okay.
But you could just have one tip in general. So yeah, a tip, you know, that you would give to younger women your age. Hey, Raj. Women your age. And what was it? Younger women your age
And older women.
Yep.
So, younger women, respect yourselves. Respect yourselves, ladies. Just because your friend is doing it, your sister, your cousin, even your mama, doesn't mean that you should be doing it too. Because there'll be those moments when you're looking in that mirror or you're alone in your room and you're questioning yourself. That means you shouldn't be doing it. Don't be a follower. Everybody's not meant to be a leader. However, you lead yourself. You don't have to lead a group of people, but don't honor your body, respect your body. And listen to the elders. Because they lived a life and they are full of wisdom. Listen to the elders. Ladies my age, I'm proud of us because we have been through some things. So I want to tell the women my age, I'm proud of us. We still have a lot of work to do, but I'm proud of us and how far we have come. The elders, give your wisdom to us and to the ones before us because we all need it. A lot of us throw our hands, rid our hands of other people. They don't want to get involved. You know, it's not how it used to be with raising a village.
Right.
Ladies, elders, give back to us because we need it. We need you. The younger generation, they need you as well. So that's my piece.
Yeah.
Love it.
I gotta jump right in because before I lose it. Younger ladies definitely starts with respect. Respect yourself first and before, because you can't respect anybody else without respecting yourself. Another advice I would give to young ladies is find a mentor. Mentors matter. Find, it don't even, you know, that one female that you may inspire to be, you know, hopefully it's something positive, but find a mentor. Mentors really, really matter. I don't think we speak about mentors a lot in the community. They matter because they can shape your future.
Yes.
And lean on those positive role models. If you don't have them in your life, definitely seek mentorship. Women my age, I definitely think we still have a lot of growing and learning to do. We came a long way as well. So, but my advice to women my age right now, I would say, let's work on breaking generational curses. And here's why. Just because, like my colleague just said, just because mama did it, grandma did it, doesn't mean you have to do it. And trauma can stop. Some traumas can stop.
Yes.
If we are intentional on breaking generational curses. Just because my mama got high, her mother got high, doesn't mean I'm gonna get high. You know, let the buck stop with you. That's my advice to women my age. Break those generational curses.
I like that.
What's the next one?
Older.
Yep.
Older women, shout out to my older women, because I mean, I learned a lot. I was around a lot of vets, so I learned a lot from my older women. My advice to them is keep schooling, you know, keep talking to your children, your grandchildren, even females in the community. You know, I was a hardhead, I was a knucklehead. But my mother and my grandmother, they constantly talked to me nonstop. They thought I wasn't listening, but I was listening. And all of the messages that they gave me, it hit home when I got in those situations. So my advice to those older women, keep talking and schooling them.
Yeah.
I would say to keep dreaming, right? Like when we're younger, we have all these goals and inspirations and, you know, aspirations to become great and do great things. And then as we get into society, due to just the culture we live in, people start placing their own fears on us at a young age. Which is why I was saying, like, with the movies and things we're watching in school, like, kids are taking that in, and it's scary, you know, to feel like I made, like, what? Like, if I use my voice and say this, like, something might happen to me. Like, so you don't get emotional safety and security in environments where you're supposed to be nurtured, right? And so I would say keep dreaming. Every day, every night, you can have a new dream. And it's okay for you to dream big, you know, like don't put a limitation like, no, you know, I want to be a millionaire. No, I'm going to get greedy. Like maybe, you know, I want a couple hundred. No, you want to be a billionaire.
Right, keep going.
And you don't want to place ceilings on yourself because we limitless. And the potential we have is infinite if we allow ourselves to just get out of our own way. Women my age, stop looking for your daddy in these men.
Come on, sis. Yes.
Because what's happening is they're raising a lot of sons now as single moms, and our men are not able to express themselves healthily, but also it's a lot of damage that has been done to our generation in regards to the fathers and what happened before we got to this point. So, like, that's the crack era, right? That's the mass incarceration. And so a lot of our fathers, our dads, are absent. And so now we have a generation of us that are kind of like the baby boomers right now, where we're having kids and we want to be able to build families, but we just don't know how, right? And so I would say we all have masculine and feminine energy within ourselves, and so it's up to us to do the work to identify what those parts of ourselves are needed for. And we don't have to be aggressive, and we don't have to be over masculine and bossy all the time. Like, we need those parts of ourselves. But when it's controlling you, it does something to our health. Like, so now we do have heart issues. We do grow facial hair because all the testosterone.
Talk about it.
It's important for us to heal that relationship with the masculine. And to realize that even though our fathers may not have been there, or even if they were and it wasn't healthy for us, we don't get to write the story for every man after that, you know? So it's our job to be able to be using your discernment and not blaming men, because men have their own journey.
Let's talk about it.
And learning how to date yourself. Like, stop looking for happiness outside of yourself. Yep. And you do the work and find what happiness means to you, because it may not even be just a man, you know? Elders, we forgive you and we love you.
Wow, deep.
You know, like, we know that during those times it was very hard and challenging. I can't imagine having to go through those things. Like, you can't go into a certain space. Like, you may go get shot. Like, I can't imagine living like that in this day and time where we just freely go everywhere. But at some point, right, they had to push the envelope and advocate for change. They had to break the rules. They had to step outside the barriers because you can't create change without disruption. And so what's happening now is everything is being disrupted. Where people feeling like we losing hope.
Right.
In my eyes, this is a time for us to come together
I agree.
and use our resources and support things like this, your education, this podcast, right? Everything that you're doing in healthcare. It's important for us to realize that our gifts that we share with each other are not limited to a title.
Right.
Like, it's not because you are a podcast host and you do all these things and it's not that. It's the essence of who you are, and how do we give back by allowing ourselves to forgive the elders, like, and tell them thank you.
That's deep. Yeah.
Like, thank y'all. Like, because we wouldn't even be sitting
Right,
here
I was about to say they paved the way. Yeah.
if it wasn't for y'all. So we honor the ancestors and those before us, and we appreciate y'all.
And they made tremendous sacrifices.
Absolutely.
Tremendous sacrifices. Yep.
Absolutely. So for me, I just have one, well, I want to say two for all three, just because, like I said, y'all going last is perfect because it's giving me the pump up. Like,
Look, the leader,
me
like,
the
I'm about to balance all of
yeah, exactly.
I love that.
To me, is patience and grace, because patience and grace is just gonna look different at young age, at middle age, and at the older age. And so, when you're younger, you need to be patient with not having. And you know what I mean? You just have to be patient with not having, because even if you have, like, let's say your parents fully provide for you, you still have to figure out who you are and what you bring to the world. So there's still things you're going to feel like you lack in, whether it's building skill set. So you have to be patient, because that's going to be the phase where you learn. Nowadays, it's like, oh, I'm 20, I want to make a lot of money.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
yes.
And with
Instant
what
gratification.
experience?
Right.
With what experience? You're not
go.
even, it doesn't, it doesn't matter if your parents have a lot of money and they bring you in, or if they don't, you still don't know anything. You only know your age. So, like, for example, if I'm talking to a 6-year-old, I cannot explain it the same as I'm talking to a 12-year-old.
Right.
They're not gonna, no matter how that kid could be, they're not gonna process it, period. And that change, that's for your whole life. When I'm 35, I'm 35 right now, I am not going to process certain things the same way as somebody 55. No matter if I got a better job, a better car, whatever, they have a different experience because they have 20 plus years. So as a young lady, your job with patience and grace is just be patient with everything that you have going on and be graceful, because that is the storage age. That is the age that when you get in your 30s, your 40s, and your 50s, everything that you do in that age, you can use to bring your income, the relationships that you build, the time you use to study, the time you put into work, how you nurture your relationships. Those things will grow, and you're watering them. So when you get in your middle age of 30 to, I want to say 55, even 60, depending on if you're working out and take care of yourself, I want to say middle age is between 30 and 60. You got like three 30-year gaps. You got the 1 to 30, 30 to 60, and that 60 to 90, 100, you know? And so when you hit that middle age, for our age, it's still patience and grace. Now we taking more naps, but had we been taking them when we was younger, we wouldn't even have been needing them that way. We, you know, like...
I work 6 o'clock, and I'm going back to the happy hour after I get off work.
And you still finding a different way. So now it's about patience and grace with balancing everything that you did, all the lessons that you learned. Now you have information. Now you have older people talking to you from, you know, now you get to experience from the auntie, uncle, mom age, and, you know, things like that. And then when you're in your elderly age, you still got to be patient. You still got to be patient. So patience and grace and just being nice to yourself would be what I would say for all three, because when it comes to your answer, which was, dang, I want to run it back. What was the answer?
For the young...
For this one. No, it was just for all of them. Like, when it was like respect. You still have to have patience and grace with how to respect yourself. Like, everything that we want to do and build, it comes from being patient and being nice to yourself. Because anything that you try to do, you have to kind of tread to pick up the information that you need. And if it's great information, good. If it's not good information, it's going to sting a little bit. You got a little F, but now what do we got to do to make that F into a D and a C and a B and an A? Now I'm an A. And that might not be right there. You might not get that F to an A until you hit your middle age. You might not get that A to an F, until you hit older age. So it's about patience and grace with just everything that we do as women, and to just have an understanding that, man, as women, all we have to do is be patient, be graceful, and just be women.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And truly, love on each other and really respect each other. Because
Yes.
she put all of us together from all walks of life.
Yes, absolutely.
And we were able to have a respectable discourse. We agree to disagree.
Yes,
We
loved
all
it,
stated
loved
different
it.
perspectives.
Yep.
So I think more of that, need to happen in our community.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
again, we're just so, as women, we have this thing where we're naturally put in competition. For what? I don't understand.
Yes. Even with the rap. Oh, she better than her. Oh, she sound like, dang, why they can't just rap?
Right.
Why they can't just rap? Why she can't just do content how she do content?
Right.
Why she can't just be a trainer? So I agree. Is there any last thoughts? Because I think what we could do for the next episode is y'all come with questions, and that'll be dope. So we're gonna save that.
I like that.
Yeah, we'll say that. So any last remarks? Anything y'all want to share? You good?
I
You good?
want to piggyback
Yeah,
off
yeah,
of
sure.
your answer with the fathers. Ladies,
yeah, that
forgive
was
your
deep.
fathers.
That was deep. Yeah.
Forgive your fathers, because my mom was a single mom. Rest in peace to my dad. I'm 42. I'll be 43, and I didn't know my father. They say I knew him up until 4, and then I didn't see him again until I was 15. And I just happened to stumble upon him, but that was the universe. And he was getting high. Him and Rev Ron, may he rest in peace as well. They were getting high, and my mom said, "Oh, there's your dad." Wow. I got out the car. I approached him. He knew exactly who I was. He cried. He's like on his knees on the ground. I'm like, "No, stand up. You're not gonna do that out here."
Right.
Even not remembering him, you're still my father, and he's apologizing. And me seeing that you're not around because this is what's going on with you. All right. I gave him grace in that moment, not realizing that's what I was doing. Right. And as I got older, I forgave him because I invited him to my high school graduation. He came, and him coming, he said to me, "I'm going to get clean for you."
Yep.
Because I reached out to him. I found his number in the phone book and called him, and he came. And we built our relationship, and he got clean.
Right.
And he got a job, and we talked, and then he passed away like 2 years later. And it took me a while to realize what God did. And I was thankful that I had him clean for those 2 years. I had to forgive him.
And you got that closure.
And I got that closure.
Yep.
So a lot of women need to forgive their fathers.
Yeah.
Nah, thank you for that one.
That's deep.
Thank you. Any other closing remarks? Anything
I
y'all
think
want to
when
share?
we talk about girl dads, and now we're back on that, definitely forgiving dads, but also dads. No matter what you're going through with the child's mother, stay focused on that girl, because girls need their dads.
Yes.
I don't care what shape, what form, what capacity you're in. Make it an effort to be in your daughter's life, because you are her first representation of a man. Good, bad, ugly, and different. Okay? Girls need their dads. So definitely, I agree with you.
Can you do me a favor? Just lift that pillow up. Because I never say it. It always fall down. I'm like, and I watch the edits. I'm like, dang, why I ain't telling him to do that? So I'm like, that's my first time finally saying it. It fall every episode. It fall every episode.
So we got
Anything else, Ciara, you want to share?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
Yes. I needed to
meeting you,
hear.
ladies.
I needed to hear. Like,
you.
I almost bust a couple tears out. But thank y'all.
okay. Crying is
so
healing.
much.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely. Absolutely.
No,
Okay.
to see 4 women to sit here, from all walks of life, like you said. This is my first time meeting you in person.
Yes.
We knew each other
Same
from
thing.
social
Well, I ran
media,
across you in the
know?
gym, but yes.
It was purposeful.
Right.
This is going to touch some people. You know what I mean? Some people need this. We needed this.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Alignment.
Absolutely.
Your
Yeah.
response is exactly what this is.
Yeah.
This was alignment. So yes, definitely.
We're
Thank
just
you.
going to continue it.
Yeah,
Hopefully
so
it grows,
no, this is
definitely.
This is it. Like this is because I want to have different
Yeah,
segments. So
definitely.
this is the clip.
Yep.
You know what I
Start having
mean?
this
Because then we can.
conversation.
And if there's anything that y'all pop up with and want to
Okay.
talk about,
Absolutely.
we could pull up. So
Yeah,
yeah, you are tuned in
Girl power.
girl.
to the Health and
Black
Hip
Girl
Hop Show.
Magic.
This is the first real talk with real women.
Yes.
Skirt
And
the
everybody
sneakers.
introduce yourself one more time.
I am Summer.
Ever Divine.
Maisa.
Yes, and thank y'all for watching. Please share, please like. Anything that y'all, find that helped or can help someone, please share, because that's all this is for. It's to help, and it's for us to step our game up globally, individually, and just partnerships, family, friends, work,
Networking,
and so, education, everything. So we love y'all. Thank you, and yes.
Bye. Thank you, Kay.